Hello, you lovelies, and welcome to This Week in Comics. This week in comics, we've got a ton of DC comic book news. We've got those Joker reviews coming out, proving the sequel is going to be just as divisive as the first Joker. We've got an acclaimed indie director responsible for Challengers, Call Me By Your Name, and lots of other stuff, potentially directing a DCU film. And speaking of the DCU, we finally know when it kicks off, as Creature Commandos just got a release date. Over at Marvel, we've got some Agatha All Along posters, a new look at one of the symbiotes in Venom, and some other miscellaneous stuff, as well as the comics themselves. If you're new to this page, I read about 70 comics a week, so you don't have to. Last week was a huge week, one of the best weeks in comics of the year. I'm going to give you my 9 favorite comics from last week that are all pretty approachable, able for most readers to just jump in right there, as well as preview the new books from this week. That's what we do here. This is going to be a speed round episode because it's 109 degrees in Los Angeles. This is This Week in Comics.
Let's do the list. Spider-Man.
Guilty.
The Incredible Hulk.
Afraid so.
Oh man, this is so cool. The X-Men.
Now that you mention it.
Kicking off This Week in Comics, we got the reviews out of Venice for Joker Folie à Deux. Now, this film is literally split down the middle. It is a 51 Metacritic score. It's faring a little better. When it debuted on Rotten Tomatoes, it had a 59%. Neither of these boding very well critically for the Joker film, but box office-wise, it is tracking to make over $100,000 in its debut. That's crazy in general, but it's really crazy for post-pandemic box office numbers, and it's even crazier for post-pandemic R-rated box office numbers. Now, when I say divisive, I don't want to read you all the reviews that came out because that's boring and you guys can read and you can find them online, but the two that I saw back-to-back on my feed I thought were hilarious and kind of exemplified the overall feel of these reviews. So the two reviews I wanted to spotlight, the first was from Scott Menzel, who said, Joker Folie à Deux is a bold, daring, and mesmerizing masterpiece. Joaquin Pheonix continues to amaze as Arthur Fleck, while Lady Gaga delivers the best performance of her career thus far as Harley Quinn. Todd Phillips has truly upped the ante in almost every way with this sequel. That is the first review I saw. Literally, the next tweet down, the second review I saw was David Ehrlich saying, Joker Folie à Deux feels like it's bad on purpose. A fascinatingly lifeless troll of a movie designed to anger fans and bore everyone else. It's a complete waste of Lady Gaga, and it's worse than any of Joker's crimes. A waste of Lady Gaga, why did I say it like that? A waste of Lady Gaga and worse than any of Joker's crimes, juxtaposed with the raving review of best performance of Lady Gaga's career and Joaquin continuing to amaze as Arthur Fleck. That's what I feel like this movie is going to be, and that is kind of more exciting to me than everyone loving it or everyone hating it. I personally got a lot out of the first Joker. I did think it was, in some ways, irresponsible and a little bit dangerous of a film. You can find my review all over the internet, but I thought it was an exceptional use of that use of the character. Like, it's not the Joker, it is using elements of the Joker to tell a Scorsese-esque story, and that's what Elseworlds are, and I was okay with that. What I'm interested in now is, in much the way that Joker wasn't Joker, because, you know, Bruce Wayne is a child in that film, and, like, he doesn't plot or scheme, I was okay with some of those elements in the first film, because I thought it was just this man in the throes of madness, and it was the origin of something like this that could go on to develop up here. I didn't think they'd ever made a sequel, but obviously they greenlit the sequel fairly quickly. But then I thought it would become more like the Joker, like he would be a criminal mastermind, things would happen that would make the title ring a little truer. But now with this sequel, I'm really intrigued by specifically David Ehrlich saying it's going to do things to anger fans. It's interesting because Todd Phillips has gone out of his way to say it's not a musical, and the reviews are saying it's a musical, and that the karaoke singing, like the jukebox style of musical, is present and prevalent. It's a musical. And then the quotes about Harley Quinn we talked about a couple weeks back, saying like she's not going to have, Harley Quinn's trademark voice and all those elements that make Harley Quinn Harley Quinn. At what point is the line, that's not the character? Or at what point is it, that's an archetypal character and you want to use these traits? I'm really curious what that looks like for me as a fan of Joker and Batman and DC Comics and Harley Quinn. I'm really curious for me and my experience of the film, which side of these two I'm going to land on. Because 51 Metacritic, 59% Rotten Tomato, that is damn near smack dab down the middle of love and hate. Because remember, Rotten Tomatoes isn't pass-fail, it's what number of critics gave it over 3 tomatoes or what have you. It's not like the movie is 59% good, it's 59% of critics in that tally thought it was more than a 3-star film. So it's a very unique way to look at film. It's become kind of the norm, but I think the average person misinterprets it. I'm curious, with half people loving it, half people hating it, which is, the Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic here, what I feel. So I'm still very excited about it. I did not expect this kind of reaction out of Venice. I'm really curious what this means. New poster's cool. We will see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do these reviews get you more excited? Do they get you less excited? Were you never excited? Are you going to see it no matter what? Where do you stand? Let me know in the comments below where you are on Joker. Folie Deux! Over from the DC EU's Elseworld, that is now the DCU Elseworld, as we are bringing things into the fold, we do have a rumor that I'm fascinated by, because right now in the DCU, James Gunn has assembled James Mangold for Man-Thing. He has, last we heard, Muschietti on Batman Brave and the Bold. He has Craig Gillespie on Supergirl. All of those directors are incredible, and now another incredible director looks like he may be joining the DCU, and I love how different all these directors are and how bold all of their films are. We have Luca Guadagnino. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but it's very Italian. He is responsible for so many movies. Last year's Bones and All, one of my favorite movies, Call Me By Your Name, The Incredible Challengers that came out this year, this movie Queer that I think is out right now or coming out soon. He is a very, very genius, emotionally driven, auteur, independent director. He is apparently going to be directing Sergeant Rock for James Gunn. That is the biggest leap in tone from his other films, as well as in box office and style and joining a shared universe. To me, this speaks to, just like Sergeant Rock in DC Comics, he'll never need to interact with Batman or Superman or any of those things. It's just adapting the comic that happens to be under the DC Comics banner, and I love that. Because like the Batman, Matt Reeves' The Batman, that is true to the character. The Detective Comics element is absolutely the Batman, but when James Gunn brings in Damian Wayne and probably more fantastical characters, that's going to be true to the DCU. Sergeant Rock can fit within the adaptation of the comic, but it doesn't have to be in a shared universe necessarily, and just making a World War II movie with the WB/DC Comics budget is probably appealing to this director. So I'm really curious, with this pantheon of directors James Gunn is assembling, what this universe feels like. I'm very excited. And speaking of what this universe feels like, we officially have a release date for Creature Commandos, and that is December 5th. We are mere months away, weeks really, from the end of the year, and within that we get the Creature Commandos kickoff to the DCU. Remember, all of James Gunn's cast members are across animation, live action, even video games. So these cast members, like Fran Grillo, who is here as Rick Flag Sr., the father of Rick Flag from Suicide Squad, but Peacemaker killed him, is going to be a key part of this show, of Peacemaker, because of the aforementioned killing of his son, of lots of things, and I cannot wait to see all that crossover, all this start to happen. Alan Tudyk, I interviewed way back at MegaCon, and he raved about the script. This cast assembled looks crazy. David Harbour is in here as Frankenstein. These first few images we got, I'm very excited about, so very intrigued by this. Creature Commandos, December 5th, looking forward to it. Over at Marvel, speaking of TV, we've got Agatha All Along posters. So we got those first few images of Creature Commandos. Now we are mere days out. It is the 6th as of you seeing this, or after the 6th, and that means we're less than 12 days away from Agatha right here. So these posters, I love the way they mirror iconic horror imagery. I was in Rocky Horror Picture Show in LA for 3 out of 4 years. I did the show for a long time. This poster made me happy. Love the Monster House one. Love True Detectives. That one made me happy. These are really cool. I like little nods. I like the cheekiness. I like the playfulness, and it ties right into WandaVision because that show played with tropes of other shows, and obviously Agatha was a part of that. So this is a fun way to tie that all together. And speaking of WandaVision, we did get some loose quotes saying that basically Vision Quest would be a sequel to WandaVision. So I'm really intrigued by that tone. I've been looking forward to that show. You've heard me talk about it here and other places. The Ultron elements I talked about last week are really exciting. Really looking forward to Vision Quest. Love the idea of it as part of that WandaVision world that Agatha is also obviously a part of. Really excited for Agatha in a couple weeks, and I missed it in my September countdown because it feels like an October show. Obviously, it has to come out first for the big finale to be somewhere in October, but I missed it, so Agatha All Along drops September 18th. Lastly, we got this first look here at one of the new symbiotes in Venom 3, The Last Dance. I assume this is the cop character that gets half, taken over in Let There Be Carnage. I forget the actor's name. He's very talented. He's in some Guy Ritchie stuff. Either way, that's who I assume this is. And I just wanted to share a Venom image because this comes out next month. It comes out October 18th, and that's like crazy soon. So I want to bring the hype back up for Venom because I'm excited for it, even if it's just me and the $1 billion it's going to make. I'm there. Venom 3, The Last Dance. Hype, hype, hype. Let's talk about the comics themselves. Kicking off with last week's books, my favorite books from the week of August 28th. Alright, so for the week of August 28th, there were damn near 70 comics I read, and what I usually do is the top 9 ends up being A's and B pluses. When something makes an A or B plus, I move it to the top list, and then I narrow it down from there. This week was full of so many good comics. I had 15 A's and B pluses, and 11 just purely A's. So I'm going to do the 9 favorite books of the week, but know that last week were some truly incredible books, but these are my favorites, and the ones that lean more approachable to new readers. The first of which is very approachable, and something I highly recommend. It is Aliens vs. Avengers. If you are a fan of the Avengers franchise, if you're a horror fan, if you're a fan of the Aliens franchise, if you're a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of insane crossovers written so delicately it actually works for both worlds, this is your book. Not only that, it is illustrated by Asad Rabis. It is written by Jonathan Hickman, two titans of this game. Jonathan Hickman has like a blank check at Marvel right now, and he can just do what he wants, and he is killing it. This story is genius. It involves Wakanda. It involves very interesting alien lore. It also features some beautiful art, like I said, Asad Rabis. This book is what comics can be. This is a highlight of comic books. Really love this first issue. You don't need to have read anything. It doesn't tie into current Avengers canon. Doesn't have any aliens lore you need to know about. It really is a one of one. Just jump in here. I think it's going to be like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries. This issue, must read. This one right here, get it. Next up, we've got Anansi Boys number 3. This is from Mark Bernardin, based off a story from Neil Gaiman. It is so fun. This book is just like tying in myths and lore and all these elements to a family story, and the fun of it is interesting. You love these characters. There's a joy in it. There's a musicality, even with the ominous tones, even with the impending doom, even with everything feeling like darkness is coming. There's a joy. There's a death that opens this book, and you celebrate the life in a way that makes the rest of the book feel like joy, even if things are really dark. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's a fun play on myths. I really like Anansi Boys. Then, surprising no one, because it's the last week of the month, is Fantastic Four 24. This always comes out the last week of the month, and it's always one of my favorite books of the month, and this is no exception. This is going back to the storyline they left off at before the big Blood Hunt event. This deals with aliens invading the Earth. It deals with time travel. It deals with time dilation. It deals with space travel. It deals with faster than light speed. It deals with science, and it does it in a way that is so smart that it makes you feel smarter, not dumber. It is so Marvel's first family. It is so adventurous. It is so playful. I love this whole run. My favorite Fantastic Four run of all time. Now 2 years deep with issue 24. This issue is a delight. Then we've got Gromit's number 4, Rick Remender's Love Letter to the 80s. This is a skateboarding book. This is a slice of life book. This is a highly recommended book, especially if you love nostalgia and the 80s, and just like chillin' books. Books that aren't cape stuff, that aren't high intensity. It's a hang. This is a hell of a hang. And I really love that this issue starts to up the stakes. We find out one of our characters is going to go through a major life change, and he's looking at his friends and how honest his friends are. Everyone is very living up to the way they've been written so far. Everyone's arc feel like I don't want to give anything away. Everyone's arc feels like it's leading to something about to happen, and I really like the way everything's being delivered. Gromit's is so good. If you love like Tony Hawk, if you love skateboarding, if you love the 80s, check out Gromit's. A lot of indies this week. Another one is Nemesis Rogue Gallery number 2. This is from Mark Miller. He wrote Kingsman and Wanted and a lot of really cool takes on superhero stuff, as well as reinventing Marvel in his own way with Ultimates comics back in the day. Bendis was on Spider-Man. We had a lot of people working on through different X-Men runs, but Miller started the first 3 volumes of Ultimates, which is the Avengers. So he's very versed in superhero stuff. This is his own hero, but it's what if Batman was a bad guy? So not a hero at all, really. Like the ultimate villain. What if someone with all of Batman's skills and money became a villain? And he just got defeated in a giant event. This is his comeback. This is him. This issue, enlisting a sidekick, and what that training looks like, what that fun is. It's a dark book. It's very dark, but it's really fun to see villainy playfully handled and play with the Batman lore a bit. Nemesis is pretty great, but it is malicious in its tone. Then we've got Sacrificers number 11, another Rick Remender book, this one about gods needing sacrifices to stay young, and one of those sacrificees discovering the truth, escaping, and then the world kind of blaming him for these woes. It's very interesting. There is a daughter character that is really, really so captivating that her spotlight issue here and the way the world is rapidly changing with the gods being seen as fallible, the gods trying to do whatever they can to fix it. It's just really cool lore. Art's gorgeous. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend Sacrificers. Saga! It's a Saga week, you lovelies, and like any Saga week, it's gonna make the top 9. I love this arc of Saga. We're only a few issues into this new arc. It feels like classic Saga. I love the way Hazel is navigating being an adolescent and her new friend, this terrifying spider. I love the angst of everything. I love that we get a little bit more of Alana. This opens with an Alana flashback. Alana's one of my favorite characters in comics. This book is so freaking good. We get new creatures every couple panels, which Saga's so good at. Fiona Staples' art absolutely sings here. Character design work makes you immediately love these characters. Saga is the perfect sci-fi space opera. It's one of my favorite comics of all time, and this arc is singing. Speaking of singing, Something is Killing the Children 40. I believe this concludes our anthology series. This is part 5 in these issues where you don't have to have read any other Something is Killing the Children. They're all self-contained issues. So we had this crazy run of like 34 or 5 Erica Slaughter stories where it was all continuing on narrative, and now we're getting pieces of her life, flashbacks, just building on the character. This issue is heartbreaking. This issue deals with a real problem in especially this country, and it deals with it in a way that ties into the lore, and it's heartbreaking and really painful, and it's really important. We need to be talking about these things. This handles it, I think, very well, and it continues the mythology and glory that is Something is Killing the Children. Really important issue. What a book. And finally, X-Men number 3, Cyclops' team deals with some government fallout. We find out about a court case, Scott Summers versus the United States, and that escalates a bit. We see the ramifications of some of the stuff happening on Uncanny X-Men. The art by Ryan Stegman is absolutely gorgeous. This book is just so fun. It is so X-Men, a world that hates and fears them, government, oversight, just lots of really nuanced takes on bigotry and hate, but also leadership and overcoming and action and adventure. It's X-Men. X-Men number 3. Really solid book. All right, those were the books from the 28th. These are my favorite 9 overall books. Like I said, 15 would have made it any other week. There were 15 books of that caliber. These are the 9 that I think were absolutely the best. Special shout out to Batman Dark Ages number 5 and The Last Mermaid number 6. Those would have been 10 and 11. Those are both also A's. 11 A's. Shout out to those, Batman Dark Ages and The Last Mermaid, which also would have made the cut if this week wasn't so stacked with Grommets and Saga and Something's Killing the Children and a lot of my classics, plus that new Aliens book. What a week in comics! Let's talk about next week in comics, which is this week in comics. That was confusing. The current books at your local comic shop right now. And again, I'm sorry this episode came out late. My family was in town last week. I had to read those 70 comics over the last 3 days. I wanted to be honest with you and read all of them to make sure, and there were some surprises, so this is a little delayed so I could read those 70 books so I could give you my top 9. These are the books I'm going to be picking up today when I go to my local comic shop from September 4th, 2024. All right, first up, September 4th from Marvel. Remember, it's by order of the number of books I'm picking up from each publisher. No favoritism. Sometimes it's Image, sometimes it's DC, sometimes it's Marvel. Just choose publishing the most books I'm going to be checking out. First up with Marvel Comics, it's going to be Daredevil number 13, Exceptional X-Men number 1, Emma Frost-led book over there, Get Fury number 5, Immortal Thor number 15, Incredible Hulk 16, Kid Venom number 2, we've got What If Donald Duck Became Thor, number 1. That's a real book. We've got Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay, number 1. Getting into spooky season. Miles Morales Spider-Man 24. Moon Knight Annual, number 1. Mark Spector is back, y'all. Scarlet Witch, number 4. Spectacular Spider-Man, number 7. That is Greg Fraser, the writer of the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, as well as a book starring Miles Morales and Peter Parker, Spider-Man. We've got Spider-Boy, number 11. Spider-Man Homeroom Heroes, number 1. That is a young ages book. If you've got kids and want to get into Spider-Man, this looks like a good jumping on point. Some really cool animation, kid style with She-Hulk and Shocker going on. We've got Star Wars The Acolyte number 1 with Kelneka, the Jedi Wookiee book. If you like that Jedi Wookiee, I got a comic for you. The Ultimates number 4. Very excited to check this one out. Apparently it ties beautifully into whatever's going on with Doomsday, the movie with Doom as Downey. We've got Venom War number 2 as well as Venom War Spider-Man number 2. I'm really digging Venom War. I'm excited for those two. Over from DC with the second most books of the week, we've got Absolute Power number 3. Loving this event. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Batman number 152. Looks like some reunion for Cat and the Bat. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries number 9. And Batman and Robin and Howard Summer Breakdown number 3. Those two last books, great jumping on points for kids to read comics. Birds of Prey 13. The Boy Wonder number 5. Justice Society of America number 11. My Adventures with Superman number 4. Good kids book for young, 8 to 12, 7 and up kids, and it ties into the Jack Quaid My Adventures with Superman animated show. It's between seasons 1 and 2. Then on the adult side of comics, we've got The Penguin number 12, concluding that. It's a 12-issue miniseries that's done with this issue. We've got a new jumping on point right here. I'm really excited for this book. We got Plastic Man No More, number 1. Love Plastic Man. Poison Ivy, number 25. We are deep into that run. It's crazy. It's on the 25th issue. And finally, Trinity Special, World's Finest, number 1. New Trinity book from Tom King. Over from Image Comics, they got a bunch of stuff. The big ones I'm excited to check out are The Holy Roller, number 8. The Public Domain, number 8 as well. I'm so excited for Public Domain. I love that book. Rook, Exodus, number 5. Scarlet, number 4. The books I'm going to be checking out. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got 2 big ones for me. We've got Dawn Runner, number 5, as well as Helen of Windhorn, number 4. Then from Boom Studios, we've got Animal Pound, number 5, which has really picked up for me, as well as Minor Arcana, number 1 from Jeff Lemire, and finally Uncanny Valley, number 5. That is going to do it for me from the publishers I read most. There's some plenty of cool stuff from Dynamite and IDW, but none of the big books I'm going to be jumping out at. So those are the books I recommend you check out this week. I am sorry. I am so sweaty. It is so hot, and that was a fast episode because I'm dying. I'm going to get in the air. Tonight, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights press night. I want to know, dear viewer, slightly off the beaten path, but are there any horror comics, horror comic characters, any approachable horror comics you would recommend, and are there any like horror-centric issues of your favorite characters? Just let me know some horror comics below. I'm really loving James Tynion horror stuff. He's been killing it, and I really like Joe Hill's Hill House imprint at DC. Those are some of my favorites. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you had a great week. I'll talk to you guys soon. This week, you'll be getting a Beetlejuice review, probably on Saturday. I'm seeing it late Friday. And then next week, I've got some interviews with Twisters cast, as well as some really cool Twisters footage. And then, some more This Week in Comics and other stuff coming at you. All right, much love. I'll see you guys soon.